Welcome back to Podcast, Conversations on Philippine History, Politics, and Society. I am Lee Candelaria.
I am Vecal Porha.
At ako naman si Joselito Ebro.
Nagpapatuloy muli ang ating season, Bagay-Bagay, Philippine Life Through Objects, where we explore everyday items that have shaped Filipino history and culture. Last episode, we discussed the San Monico Bridge, a controversial connector to a complex legacy.
And today, we're moving from a grand infrastructure to something much more humble but arguably more present in Filipino daily life. Something you'll traditionally find in every Filipino home.
Oo nga. We're talking about the tapo. The ubiquitous Filipino water dipper that's been an essential part of our hygiene practices for many centuries.
Yes, and while it might seem like just a simple scoop for water, the tabo carries deep cultural significance. In fact, sabi nga ni anthropologist Michael Tan, the tabo is much more than a dipper kasi it's indispensable in Filipino homes and it represents core values, like cleanliness and resourcefulness.
Sobrang fascinating kasi, di ba, it's something so simple, so unassuming. Pero talagang naging, kumbaga, powerful marker of Filipino identity. Di ba? Dito nga may mga nagbebenta ng mga tabo sticker. Benta man sa mga PhilAm. Yes, and for other Filipinos living abroad. Although ako, personally, hindi ako tabo person.
Yeah, ako rin. May tabo ako dito sa Japan, pero but it's not for what you think, no? Lang ako pag naliligo, medyo nostalgic kasi sa akin yung tabo kasi bilang hindi naman ako lumaki ng may shower. So naalala ko nung bata ako, meron kaming timba na malaki na imbakan ng tubig. So pag maliligo ka, mag-iipon, no? Tapos pag maliligo ka, mag-scoop ka ng water. Tapos yung favorite kong laro nun, ilalagay ko yung water yung tabo sa ulo ko para dahang lalabas yung tubig. Parang nakaka-enjoy actually gawin.
Nag-hesitate siya, bro.
Hindi naman na. Pero minsan pag nagkakamali ako ng puno ng tub, sobra yung tubig. So instead na matapon lang, sinasalok ko para pinampapaligo ko na lang din. So para makatipid din ng tubig. Pero for me kasi there's something nostalgic about the tabo.
Sa akin naman, mas gusto ko yung bidet. Pero hindi sa panligo. Pero yan, preference lang natin yan.
Mm-hmm. Ako din, bilang nasa Japan din ako likely, gusto ko ng bidet culture. But that's not to say na ayoko ng tabo kasi part na talaga yan ng culture natin . At nostalgic nga. Sobrang nostalgic siya.
Yeah, so sa episode na ito, unti-unti nating tatabuin, sasalukin ang tabo at ang kasaysayan at bahagi nito sa ating kultura. How can this object become a signifier of Filipino identity? Pag-usapan natin.
Hindi naman surprising, but the tabo's origins actually predate colonial times. So, the earliest tabo, of course, wasn't made of plastic, but of natural materials. Primarily, coconut shells with bamboo handles. At sabi nga ni Dr. Michael Tan, isang anthropologist, ang ubik translation daw yung dipper. It's more than just a water dipper.
Oo, kasi yung word na yan ay talagang cultural din. The word tabo comes from Proto-Malayo-Polynesian root tabuk, which connects to a broader Austronesian cultural sphere. Similar words exist in related languages like Chedok in Malay and Kabok in Cebuano.
Yung Chedok actually interesting kasi parang katunog niya yung sandok natin, no? Which I think are kind of like the same thing sa tabo. Yung sandok ay may handle din. Although sa Tagalog kasi ang sandok mas ladle yung kanyang function sa pagluluto. But I think this linguistic connection tells us something important, that the concept of a water dipper has been integral to the material culture of the region for centuries. And it's not just something that came with the colonizers.
Oo, saka yan yung interesting kasi, di ba, kumbaga in its earliest form, the tabo wasn't really associated with toilet or bathroom. Di ba? Tulad nga nung sabi mo, parang malapit sa sandok. Mas siya, it's like an all-purpose household item na may iba't ibang gamit.
Oo nga. Very interesting ito for me mula sa ating research. Apparently, one of its most significant early roles was in the ritual of hospitality. Yung tabo ay nakalagay kasama ng banga sa labas ng bahay, sa may entrada, para yung mga bisita makapaghugas ng kamay at ng paa bago pumasok ng bahay.
Kasi nga naman na maputik or maalikabok ang mga daanan, no? But that practice wasn't just about physical cleanliness, but it was imbued with social meaning. It signifies courtesy and respect from the host. So, in a way, sa mga bahay natin noon, ang pagbibigay ng tubig at tabo sa isang bisita ay isang paraan ng pagsasabing, welcome ka dito.
Oo, tama. Kasi parang, di ba, yung pagkain ng nakakamay. So, parang tingin ko, baka ano na siya, signal na rin siya na magugas ka ng kamay, tapos kumain na tayo. Di ba? Like, wash your hands and you're welcome to eat here. Share this meal with us and feel at home. So, sa loob din nung traditional na lutuan, yung kusina, kumbaga sa mga traditional na bahay, the tabo and small banga, yung palayok, partner yan. Magpartner sila. And the tabo was used to scoop water for drinking, for washing hands, before and after meals. At ginagamit din na panghugas ng plato.
Several factors contributed to the tabo's emergence and widespread adoption in early Filipino culture. A main one was a practical need for convenient access to water. In an era before plumbing, water was often sourced from rivers or wells and stored in large jars within the household.
Yeah, actually, even doong panahon ng Espanyol na, dinideliver ang water, especially sa Manila. So from Pasig, iniigib yan, dinideliver. So may malalaking banga sa mga harap ng bahay, doon nilalagay yung tubig. So, alam nga naman, buhatin mo yung banga, magtututbrush ka lang, wala pa siguro, hindi man ng toothbrush like before, maghuhugas ka lang ng kamay, kukunin mo yung buong banga. Siyempre hindi. The tabo developed as a tool to easily access the stored water, so reducing the labor involved in fetching water for every small need.
Saka, ano talaga, I think it really was, it has something to do with our strong emphasis on cleanliness. Diba? Yun nga yung sasabi ni Michael Tan na there are varied uses of the tabo and it is a reflection of what he pertains to as an obsession with cleanliness in early Filipino culture.
And this is recorded in history. Napansin ng 17th century missionary priest na si Francisco Ignacio Alcina na maraming specific na salita sa Visayan languages para sa iba't ibang uri ng paghuhugas, like para sa paa, sa kamay, at iba't ibang bahagi ng katawan na malamang gumagamit ng tabo.
So far, malinaw na itong paglalakbay ng tabo sa kasaysayan ay medyo consistent, no? Although may nabasa akong some piece online saying itong isang historian, di umano, na yung tabo daw ay American period lang. At sana na-misquote lang siya doon kasi we have records to prove that it existed even before the arrival of the colonizers.
Yeah. So during the Spanish colonial period, yung tabo, ang tawag sa kanya mas sartin. I think derived from the Spanish sartén, meaning frying pan. Kasi siguro pareho silang may handle, ano. So this linguistic adaptation may suggest an introduction of a different kind na baka gawa sa betel.
Yes, pero ang alam ko kasi sardine yung parang white the enamel na baso or palanggana or yung lalagyan ng mga kutsara at tinidor. Anyway.
Yes, oo, parang gano'n. Exactly.
Anyway, yung sardine daw ay yung parang hugasan ng kamay bago kumain. Speaking of washing habits, syempre kasama rin dyan ang paliligo. The Jesuit priest Pedro Chirino, writing in late 16th and early 17th centuries, documented the Filipino bathing practices. He noted our penchant for frequent bathing and described the custom of keeping water jars at house entrances for foot washing.
And while Chirino didn't explicitly use the word tabo, his description of handling water with vessels aligned perfectly with the tabo and its established functions. And especially the tradition of placing it beside a water jar near the house, nabanggit natin yan kanina, especially for guests, continued throughout the colonial period.
Yes, and when the Americans came, meron silang bagong standard for public health in the Philippines. Kasi parang, yes, we bathe, we wash, we clean, pero yung issue nila ay yung disposal of human waste. Of course, sa panahon na to, very limited yung infrastructure and technology. At alam naman natin ang mga Kastila, hindi naman talaga nag-invest sa infrastructure kahit sa Maynila. But the Americans insisted in the training of Filipinos in constructing and using latrines and hygienic disposal of human waste. Kasi dati, di ba, talagang literal na dumadaloy lang papunta sa mga dagat, yung mga estero, yung mga dumi. So hygiene during the American period actually became also a tool for social control. At sabi nga ni Warwick Anderson, Excremental Colonialism. Ang ganda ng librong yan. It's sobrang entertaining magsulat itong si Warwick Anderson.
So, understandably, magbabago ang ating hygiene and sanitary habits. But the tabo will stay. Yes, magbabago lang yung material, especially upon the introduction of plastic during the post-war years.
Yeah, and despite this change in material and production, the tabo's function, especially within the bathroom, not only continued, but were emphasized in the context of modern hygiene standards. It's used for flushing toilets, for washing your bum, and bathing remained central.
What's remarkable is that its presence isn't diminished by modern conveniences. Diba, silingay, ang ganda-ganda ng mga bidet sa Japan, gumagamit pa rin ng tabo.
Oo nga.
So, yun.
Hindi nga sa pag-jebs, Vic, para sa paliligo.
I'm just saying na
Totoo.
kahit na yung mga bahay natin, meron ng modern plumbing, may mga shower na, bathtub,
Yes.
diba? May mga bidet, may tabo pa rin. And in fact, may mga balita nga sa mga Pinoy, I think sa Australia, na muntik nang matanggalan ng trabaho kasi ginagamit niyang makeshift tabo yung mga pet bottle.
Sabi nga nila, you can take the Filipino out of the Philippines, but you cannot take the tabo from the Filipino. Siyempre, joke lang yun. Hanggang ngayon, kahit na medyo uso na rin ang bidet sa Pinas, fixture pa rin yung tabo sa CR or comfort room. Para sa mga Pinoy living overseas, the tabo is often something they bring with them or ask relatives to send if they forget.
Well, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk about tabo's symbolic significance and what it means to Filipino identity.
Welcome back to podcast. So, we're discussing the tabo, the simple but essential deeper found in virtually every Filipino bathroom.
Yeah, let's talk about what makes the tabo much more than just a functional object. It's really a powerful cultural symbol in the Philippines.
The tabo transcends its utilitarian function to stand as a significant cultural icon. Well, it's simple lang, unassuming pero bahagi ng identity natin.
Saka talagang, I don't know, I think it's another indication of our resourcefulness. Like our ability to make do with whatever's, yung paggamit natin ng isang bagay for multiple functions, right? So, andyan na rin yung diskarte, kung paano ginagamit. And actually, sobrang interesting kasi yung, kumbaga, omnipresence ng tabo sa Filipino culture, na-translate na siya, na ginagamit na nating sometimes measure, like unit of measurement.
Yeah, oo.
Like, pag sabi mo, isang tabo, parang isang tabong sabaw, whatever. Like, alam mo yung kung ano yung ibig sabihin. Meron kang rough na idea kung gano'ng kadami yung isang tabo.
Actually, nung batang ako, meron pang parang yung mga nilalaro ng mga bata ng parang ayaw maligo, binato ng tabo, something like that. Yung naalala ko whenever I say tabo, parang yung Voltes 5 parody song na ayaw maligo, binato ng tabo. Anyway, I think the tabo also, the fact that it's still here, kahit na ang modern na natin and all, may mga cellphones tayo pero may tabo tayo, I think it speaks as well to resilience, the fact that it persisted through centuries of historical change, of technological advancement, from coconut shell or baon ng nyog to plastic, from a hospitable gesture to a bathroom essential, the tabo has adapted while maintaining its core purpose.
Ganda nung point niya yun, kasi it's like a tangible link to tradition and the wisdom of older generations. It anchors households in age-old practices and provides a sense of comfort and continuity.
Saka, di ba, like, ngayon, sa panahon ngayon na sobrang high-tech na ng mga bagay-bagay, we're super dependent on our gadgets. Yung simpleng tabo, parang it reminds us na hindi mo kailangan ng mga fancy na bagay if it does the job. Right? Yun nga, simplicity in, beauty in simplicity, ika nga. So, yung availability ng tabo sa urban centers, sa mga rural areas, talagang it's there. It's a constant companion in any Filipino household.
Yeah, actually, sabi nga nila, if it ain't broke, then don't fix it, Tsaka, I think I like, especially, how the tabo represents how clean we are. No, especially, naalala ko dati, conversation ko with fellow foreigners here in Japan na parang, alam nyo, yung mga Pilipino, ang ano raw sa mga Pilipino, amoy isda daw. Or amoy, patis. Oo, parang ganoon, sinasabi. Na parang sabi ko, what? Sasabihan nyo kami ng ganyan? Yung mga Pilipino, 2 beses naliligo yan sa umaga at sa gabi. Diba?
True.
So, yeah, I think we're a very clean culture. We like bathing, no? Bahagi talaga siya, no? Embedded yan sa atin.
Oo, binabanggit na din ng I think sila Chirino din, di ba? Binabanggit na yan na isa sa mga noted observation nila, sabi nila yung natives daw, bata talagang naliligo sa ilog. But anyway, yung kalinisan, yung hindi siya yung superficial tidiness, I think.
Yeah.
As in, parang meron talagang we're very particular about washing our bodies, right? So, halimbawa yung mga kwento ng mga Pinoy na pumupunta sa US, tapos ma-shock sila kasi they don't wash necessarily, they wipe, which is, yeah, sure. Pero iba talaga iba yung dating. So, kapag sa Pilipinas ka lumaki, parang unimaginable na mahuhugasan mo lang yung mga parte ng katawan mo kapag mag-shower ka. Diba? Hindi, it's not right.
Yes. That you go about your day na parang may dumi ka sa, alam mo yun, parang, it's not, may something na, it's not like people will know, but you know, so it bothers you. Hindi talaga, sa Pilipino, hindi talaga pwedeng tissue lang kasi parang may mali. So, I think it also shows how connected we are with water kasi parang this taboo culture also relates to this fundamental belief in the efficacy of water for thorough purification. So, like many Filipinos, iba pa rin washing with water. And, in the digital age, social media platforms have become arenas for expressing this tabo culture. Sabi nga niya kanina, may nagbebenta ng stickers ng tabo. No? Ako naman nakikita ko minsan sa Reels, Instagram Reels, or sa story, for example. Even yung mga puti na mga, well, admittedly, mga Pinoy baiters, no? Ginagamit nila yung tabo kasi alam nilang it connects to Filipino culture. Before we proceed to discussing yung mga contemporary issues nitong or what contemporary issues we can relate to the tabo, naalala ko lang yung vapor tabo, di ba? Si Rizal sa El Fili, ginamit niya yan to depict social classes. So dun sa vapor tabo as steamship, yung mayayaman at mga edukado nasa upper deck at yung mga mahihirap, mga obrero, mga Indio, nasa mababang deck. Where medyo inhumane ang trato daw sa kanila. So I think we can say that there is a deeper meaning in the use of tabo here. Deeper. ang witty ko doon.
Yeah, sure. Sige, bigyan natin yan kay Lee. And anyway, I think yung isa pang central discussion na may connect sa tabo ay yung issue on differing cultural perspectives on bathroom hygiene. Na kumbaga pwede rin tawagin nating hygiene wars, between water use like tabo and bidet sa karamihan ng mga bansa sa Asia, and the primary reliance on toilet paper in many Western cultures, in many Western countries. They're so crazy about their toilet papers. Di ba nga nung nagka-pandemya sa Amerika, yan yung mga talagang naging panic buying. Like they can't imagine their toilet paper.
Pero actually sa Japan, na-realize ko parang, I think it's a healthy middle. Of course, bidet here is ubiquitous, no? Pero kasi may tissue din sila. In fact, dito sa Japan, bidet muna bago tissue. Parang ganon. Or pwede ring tissue muna bago bidet, pero laging you end with tissue. Parang ganon. And in fact, nung COVID, I think COVID days, pandemic days, nagka-shortage ng tissue dito sa Japan. Nag-panic buying din yung mga tao. Yeah, but ubiquitous talaga ang bidet. Oo.
Yes. So talagang uso siya. And I think it effectively and more sanitarily addresses the need for tabo for that specific purpose, yung number 2. Nagulat lang ako na apparently, based sa ating research for this episode, the Philippines ranks 4th globally in bidet usage in travel accommodations with nearly 53% of rental lodgings equipped with one. Pero I think iba kasi yung bidet na mas madami sa Pilipinas kaysa sa Japan, right? So sa Japan parang washlet, right? Sa Pinas yung handgun.
Oh.
yung water, right, yung handheld bidet.
Yung matatanggal pati kaluluwa mo. Hindi, joke lang.
Power washer.
So,
Walang iwan doon, bro.
wala lahat.
Ay,
Tanggal.
oo.
So, in fact, local governments in cities like Cebu and Angeles have even passed ordinances mandating bidets in public and commercial toilet. Kasi nga naman, improved sanitation and environmental advantages over toilet paper, no?
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest, hindi lang naman kasi sa pagdumi lang ginagamit ang tabo, no? I mean, I will definitely give up tabo for the washlet or the bidet. As I've mentioned, I grew up without a shower in our house. So, tabo ang panligo talaga namin. Or, alam mo yun, kapag mawawala ng tubig, di ba? Yung mga affected ng prime water dyan sa Pilipinas, no? Yung mga households na yan, need talagang mag-imbak ng tubig. So, may tabo ka panligo in times of need. So, despite the increasing adoption of bidets, the tabo remains ubiquitous in Filipino bathrooms. And oftentimes, it coexists with modern alternatives, even in homes that have bidets.
Okay, so ngayon, pag-usapan naman natin yung environmental profile or aspect ng tabo.
Yeah, kasi 'di ba sabi nga ng anthropologist si Dr. Michael Tan, this shift from traditional biodegradable coconut shell, bamboo handles na tabo of the olden times to modern plastic versions has introduced this environmental cost. I think we must highlight and emphasize the Philippines, of course, faces a significant challenge with plastic pollution. In fact, we are the world's top contributor to ocean plastic waste.
Totoo. Yung mga single-use plastics, no? And at maraming affected yan, hindi lang mga Filipinos kasi saan ba pupunta yung mga plastic wastes na yan? Sa ibang bansa din. And to be fair, hindi naman single-use items itong mga ito, but the plastic tabos eventually become part of a larger plastic waste stream when disposed of. The nation's reliance on plastic products combined with inefficient or insufficient recycling infrastructure compounds this issue.
Tama. Saka, yung bagong concern ngayon na madalas raise ay yung microplastics. Diba? So, kahit hindi siya single use. Yun naman yung iba. So, kasi they indicate that plastics, yung microplastic particles, it releases into the atmosphere once it's subjected to physical stress. Kasama yung prolonged na contact with water.
Yes. So I think bilang Pilipino, nananalay tayo sa ating ugat, ang dugo at ang microplastic. No? But I mean, on the positive side, using a tabo, especially with timba, yung pail, for storing water it's a water efficient method. To be fair, I mean, mas efficient yan kaysa sa shower or yung mga continuous flush toilets. I mean, my father actually hated flushing with the regular flush daw kasi sayang daw sa tubig. Kumbaga, users have direct control over the amount of water used for each task. So, tipid.
Magandang point yan kasi important yung ganyang thinking lalo na sa mga lugar na medyo hirap sa tubig.
Pero yun nga, alam mo yun, as a tabo culture, syempre, and that particular aspect of number 2, or yung pagdumi, it has something to do, I think lumilitaw, kumbaga, yung kultura natin on how reluctant we are in this openly discussing the primary association of tabo with toilet functions.
Yeah, I mean, why OFWs, for example, have tabo? Hindi naman panligo yung tabo nila, definitely. Diba? But why is it so hard, like even for us right now, to talk about that aspect of the use of tabo for, washing your puwet? or why is it so difficult to talk about toilet-related activities? Kasi they're generally considered private and subject to social norms of discretion. So the tabo, by extension, can become a delicate subject. But this doesn't diminish the fact of the importance of the tabo, but it also reflects broader cultural etiquette surrounding personal topics. Yeah, so that's our exploration of the tabo, this deceptively simple yet culturally rich object that's been part of Filipino life for centuries.
Kaya nga no? So I like this episode kasi, 'di ba, nung nagre-research tayo sa tabo, ang saya pala niya, ang daming niyang ine-embody, like tradition, how we adapt and how a particular object evolves materially, but also its core purpose and its association tulad ng mga diniscuss natin kanina.
It's also amazing how something so humble tulad ng tabo ay isa pa ng powerful marker ng identity, lalo na sa mga nasa abroad. Perhaps just seeing it connects you to home is something that reminds you of our shared cultural understanding.
And yeah, you know what? In many ways, the tabo and its story mirrors our own national journey. Isipin nyo na lang no, na adapting to colonial influences and modern technologies while maintaining a distinct cultural identity. The tabo is a tangible link to our pre-colonial past, no? Malinaw. And it's a daily reminder of our values around cleanliness, hospitality, and resourcefulness.
Tama. At saka pag pinag-uusapan siya, marami ding lumilitaw na issue tulad ng, issue on environment or microplastic or water conservation. At pati yung mga, yung mga iba't ibang kultura when it comes to hygiene. Di ba? Paano natin siya dapat unawain?
Sa huli, the tabo reminds us that even the most ordinary objects can carry extraordinary cultural significance. It's not just what we use, but how and why we use it that shapes our identity as Filipinos.
Yeah, actually, that's why I like this episode kasi ito yung point ng season na to, no? We explore the Filipino life and our history through ordinary objects. Kaya naman, our next episode will explore another significant object in Philippine life and history, particularly siguro para sa mga estudyante. Kasi itong next object natin ay isang bagay na kinalakihan natin, ginagamit natin sa school, at especially kapag entrance exam. So, abangan niyo.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts and visit our website, podcast.org, para sa iba pang mga resources.
Salamat sa pakikinig. Until next time, this has been Podcast, Conversations on Philippine History, Politics, and Society.
And as always, have a good day.